One bright and beautiful spring morning, a hard-working merchant prepared to set off for the market. He carefully loaded his strong but mischievous donkey with heavy bags of salt, stacking them high on its back. The merchant hoped to sell the salt and make a good profit that day. The road to the market was long and dusty, winding through the green countryside and across a flowing river. The merchant and his donkey walked steadily, the sun shining warmly above them. As they approached the river, the merchant paused. The river was shallow but had a slippery, rocky bank, making it tricky to cross. He stepped carefully, guiding his donkey across, but suddenly the donkey's hoof slipped, and with a loud splash it fell right into the water. The merchant rushed to help, but the donkey scrambled to its feet and climbed out by itself. That's when the donkey noticed something surprising. The heavy salt bags had become lighter. The water had dissolved much of the salt, making the load much easier to carry. The donkey, feeling relieved, happily trotted forward, unaware that the merchant was frowning, deep in thought. Since most of the salt had been lost, the merchant had no choice but to turn back home. There was nothing he could sell at the market now. Disappointed, he reloaded the donkey with fresh salt bags and set off again. As they reached the river for the second time, the donkey remembered what had happened before. That was easy, the donkey thought. If I fall again, my load will get lighter just like before. So instead of slipping by accident, the donkey deliberately fell into the river. Splash! Just as before, the salt dissolved and the load became lighter. The donkey climbed out happily, but the merchant was furious. "You tricky animal! You did that on purpose," he muttered. The merchant now understood the donkey's little trick. He needed to teach it a lesson. That evening, instead of loading the donkey with salt, the merchant filled the bags with soft, dry sponges. The donkey, unaware of the switch, felt the light load and thought nothing of it. The next morning, they set out for the market once again. The donkey, feeling confident, led the way. When they reached the river, the donkey smirked inwardly. "This will be easy," it thought. With great enthusiasm, the donkey threw itself into the water again. But this time, something unexpected happened. Instead of the load getting lighter, it became much heavier. The sponges soaked up the water, becoming heavier and heavier. Soon, the donkey could barely stand under the weight. Struggling and panting, the donkey slowly dragged itself out of the river, now carrying a back-breaking load. The merchant laughed heartily and patted the donkey's wet head. "You foolish donkey! You thought you could trick me again? Now you've learned that you cannot fool someone too many times." From that day on, the donkey never tried to be clever again. It learned that shortcuts and tricks don't always work. Sometimes they backfire.